out today with learning how to create with AI and how to get going if you're just starting with AI. So let me know in the chat here if you are feeling like you need a little help with the AI and you don't exactly know where to begin. You'd like to start dabbling, but you're not sure exactly where to begin. All right, so here we go. And I really appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. And this is great. This is great. We're gonna start diving in right here. And hi there. Awesome. Welcome. And in the chat, go ahead and just tell me where you're calling in from as we get going today. Today, I'd like to really help you understand how to create in writing with AI. That's a perfect, easy way to get going. We've talked before about everything from making images, which is super fun, to, if you want to get really fancy, creating awesome video, or what I've been really enjoying this past week or two, creating songs with AI. And sometimes we've written the lyrics in ChatGPT and then brought them over. But because I've talked about that for the past few live streams, I just decided, let's go back to the basics. And in particular, I wanted to address a question that one of you asked, saying, what advice do you have if I just want to get started? I want to dabble, but I also want to try the free versions. And I totally get that. That is so understandable because it's an investment, right? It's an investment. So you want to make sure what you're getting into is going to pay off. And that's very understandable. And before I go on, let me address the fact of where I am. I am in a redwood forest in Sea Ranch, California. My wonderful sister loaned my wife and I her beautiful Airbnb. And so we're getting a little bit of a refresh and recharge, and it's been awesome so far. And I just wanted to take some short time out to talk with you today to help you understand how to write with AI and how to get going. So you don't have to invest, and I definitely recommend that you look diligently, you scour the different tools that are available out there and find the ones that are free or have a free trial just to get going and see what you really like. I did this when I was first starting, and there were several tools that were highly recommended, but when I tried them, they just didn't really click. They didn't feel right. And that's what I used to always advise people with photography, and they would always ask, what kind of camera should I use? And I would say the best thing that you could do is get down to a camera store. This was back when a lot more cameras were sold in a brick and mortar shop than going to an online store. And I would recommend that you go to the camera store and you try it. You feel the camera in your hands, because you won't know until that point whether it just seems to make intuitive sense. The buttons and the dials just make sense to you. Back then, there were two 800-pound gorillas in the market. And really, Canon was the 800-pound gorilla because they had a whole line of other devices for sale. But Nikon and Canon were the two top choices among serious photography enthusiasts. And boy, it was just like PC, Windows versus Mac. Some people just really feel much more comfortable with a Canon. It's very intuitive. That was me. Other people just really, it clicked when they used the Nikon. So the same thing happens here for your writing tools with AI and any of the other styles of AI that you want to play with. You want to go for what makes the most sense to you, and trying those out for free is the best way to go. So I do have a paid account of ChatGPT-4, but I recommend that you go ahead, even if you're not using the GPT 4.0 or the 4.0 mini, you use what's available to you without spending the $20 a month, and just go in there and start playing. And what we can talk about today is what is going to work no matter what you use. What's important in a prompt, no matter what you use. And if you see me going like this, it's because I'm just getting rid of some mosquitoes. So here we are, and we're in ChatGPT, and there are common elements that you want to put into a prompt when you are first starting out. The first thing that you want to put in there is you want to tell ChatGPT who you want it to be. Okay, so, if you don't say who, it's going to just answer in this generic all-person voice. And you can say who by saying a specific person or a composite of people. I want you to be, and you can name off your 2 favorite marketing gurus if you're needing content for copy for your website or an email. You can also talk about, just say, be the best marketer or be the best digital marketer. You can say, I need you to be an attorney, and you can, talk about legal issues. Of course, double check, make sure the facts are right, because again, ChatGPT and other AI can be like a crazy genius, like Doc Brown in Back to the Future, having all these wild ideas, but sometimes they're a little out there. So you have to double check. And that's the first thing that you're going to want to do in the prompt is say, I want you to be this. And when you get really going, it gets so much more fun and so much more fancy because you can put these kind of things in your instructions. You can say, I want you to be this particular persona or this composite of people. And you can put that in the instructions so that every time you make a certain reference, ChatGPT knows exactly what you're talking about. And you can also get even fancier with agents. Now, agents are becoming the next thing where you use a tool like Cassidy and you get rid of the mosquitoes as you go. And you use a tool like Cassidy to create agents which will constantly work for you as a particular entity. But as you're first getting going free, you can dabble right here in ChatGPT and say something like, and let's see, what would we like to write today? You can write marketing copy, what I refer to. You can write a chapter of that book that you've always dreamed of writing. You can write it as a nonfiction guidebook, or does it excite you more to write a fiction novel? Are you so excited to write like a mystery or a romance and maybe begin to develop a following that way? And there's nothing wrong about it. There's nothing wrong about it in the sense that you are just getting over the white page syndrome, the blank page syndrome. You are getting to the point of fine-tuning, of having that conversation where you say, is that really what I want to say? Okay, no, now tweak it a different way. I want you to shift it and have a different voice, or change to a different tone, or completely change the words, and then you're getting into the editor mode. You could also write a poem. You could express yourself with poetry or song lyrics. You could take that poem and put it into a song like we've talked about in the past live streams. So there's all these different ways you can go, and that's just scratching the surface. And then each way you say, be so-and-so. If you have somebody that you really admire, like let's just say for fun, be Steve Martin, and write me 10 jokes about doing a live stream in the redwood forest. I have no idea where this is going to go, with mosquitoes all around. I have no idea what this is going to do, but this is the kind of fun that you can have, and this is what I want to encourage you to do. Just play with it, have fun, and let's enter and see what it does. So I'm telling it what to do, and I'm saying, write me this, and I'm giving it 10 ideas because I like to have choices that then I can focus on. That's the next thing. After you tell it the prompt of who you want it to be, then start somewhere, like have it brainstorm a bunch of ideas and then pick one and then take that to the next level. The same thing goes with like if you're writing a novel or a guidebook, have it write the outline and give you like even 10 outlines, and then pick the outline that you like and work with that to go to the next thing and say, okay, now write an introduction for this outline, or write even the book cover blurb for this outline. And then when we start dabbling with the image creation tools, which a lot of them you can either use for free or do a free trial. And again, that's what I recommend. Scour all your options and see which tools will give you a free trial choice. And like this ChatGPT, okay? And channeling Steve Martin's whimsical style, it says, here are 10 jokes about doing a live stream in the redwood forest with mosquitoes on. And it's my best Steve Martin voice. I did a live stream in the redwood forest. The mosquitoes were so bad, I told my viewers, it's the first time my blood type had more viewers than my channel. It made me laugh. Okay, number 2. Folks, it turns out the buzz around my live stream wasn't my popularity. It was just the mosquitoes. That one gets an inner smile from me. Number 3, I told the mosquito during my live stream, you can't steal my ideas. But it was more interested in a direct blood transfusion. I like that part about not stealing my ideas. They can't steal from me. I'm going to be a killer when it comes to you mosquitoes trying to steal these ideas from me. Number 4, I thought I had interactive viewers in my live stream. Turns out it was just mosquitoes. It says tapping on my screen, but I would just stop it there at mosquitoes. Oh, but it says tap it. They were trying to swipe right. So let's see. It goes for mosquitoes saying I'm part of the buffet here. You know the trouble when your live stream gets fewer likes than there are mosquitoes. And oh boy, were they liking me. Last night's live stream had so many buzzes, I felt like I was hosting a game show for mosquitoes. What's your type? O positive. You win. Oh, it's kind of a flop. And then, but it's not going to get them all right, of course, and that's why we're asking for a bunch. Mosquitoes during my live stream were like online trolls. They suck the life out of you. And there's no block button. I wore a suit to look sharp for the live stream. I didn't today. The mosquitoes saw the buffet design. Guess I dressed to impress. And number 10, the only network stronger than my live stream signal in the redwood forest was the mosquito communication network. Quote, guys, dinner's on me. Literally. Boo. So it tries everything. And usually humor, in the past when I've said, ChatGPT, write me a joke so that I can make my book have more fun. I have a forthcoming book on AI mastery, and I would often try to have it do that, have some sort of levity in it, and it would totally flop. Until a friend told me about this key point of saying who you want it to be. Pick your favorite comedian and just say, be so-and-so, and give me some options so I can go into the iteration phase. So in this case, I would probably use that first one, or the buzz about my popularity. I like that one. Folks, it turns out the buzz. So in this case, I'm racking my brain to think of where I would go with this. I could probably say, give me some more like this. Or if I really wanted this humor, I would say, you know, okay, let's work it into some chapter of the book. Like, you know, how can we, or I would just copy and paste it into that part of the book. But just to show you the iteration process, I would say, you know, give me 10 more like number 2. And I could just have them all be Steve, but this one I could say, you know, alternate Steve's voice and persona, and you just say explicitly what you want with Martin Short, and see where it goes. Okay. And so certainly here are them. Okay, so Steve Martin, I figured out why the mosquitoes buzz in your ear during the live stream. They're requesting their favorite songs. Mine kept buzzing, "Suck It To Me One More Time." Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen, I was so popular during my Redwood Forest live stream, even the mosquitoes were vying for autographs. They kept poking me for ink. Or maybe that was just blood. Wah, wah, wah. Steve Martin, I used to tell jokes during my live stream to keep the mood light. The mosquitoes didn't laugh, but they did stop for a drink on the house. And it goes on from there. So you get the idea here that you say who or what you want ChatGPT to be, and then you start somewhere. And this is key. You don't ask for everything that you want in one huge long prompt. Keep it short and simple so ChatGPT can work with it. And this works even in the free version. And then here's the next thing. Then at the end of the chat, another one bites the dust. There goes another one. You end the prompt with the same thing that you started with. So let's shift gears here and start a new chat and say something really short. Who's like, let's say be John Lennon. Be John Lennon. John Lennon. Bono from U2. And what's the Coldplay singer's name? And Coldplay's lead singer, I know it's Chris Martin. That's it, Chris Martin. Coldplay's Chris Martin. And write me. Let's keep it shorter this time. 3 songs. I could have just stayed in the same chat and wrote about the same situation where I am and how comedic this is. But let's go to something else that we would like to do today. And let's say it's about writing in general with ChatGPT. And let's just see where it goes. And, oh, I forgot to say that other thing, that then I could give it more details. And then at the end, I would say again, be John, Bono, and Chris, and write me this song. And that way it weights it more. So that's a power tip. A power tip for you is to end the prompt with the same thing that you started it off with. But in this case, we got, okay, a song. And it says by John Lennon. So it's in Imagine. And since I had 3 names and asked for 3 songs, they're thinking of writing each one in the different voice. And that's perfectly okay for our case. But what I really meant was be a composite of those 3. So that's something that I would be more clear about next time. I would say, be a composite of these 3 songwriters and write for me. But this one, in a room so still with my thoughts awake, find me by the fireside, make no mistake. A pen in my hand, but the words won't come. ChatGPT by my side, now the song's begun. And then the chorus, write with me across the screens, in lines of code where I've never been. The world spins fast, but our words fly free. Come and write with me. That sounded really good. And it goes on from there with a thought or a line. Let's see how Bono sounds, a little bit different. It's more like a beautiful day, this says. That one by John Lennon was to the tune or the idea of Imagine. So this one, like a beautiful day. Streets of code at our feet. We walk the lines where past and future meet. That sounds immediately to me like U2. ChatGPT, tell the tales we cannot see. Voices echo in the machine. And it's a beautiful ride as we type across the night, echoes of tomorrow in our sight with every word we write. I love it. And for the sake of time, I won't read everything. Now, Keys of Light, this is going to be by Chris Martin of Coldplay, and it's melodic and introspective, similar to Fix You, when the screen lights up, when the night is still, ChatGPT and I, beneath the quiet windowsill. And then the chorus, and we'll write till dawn, in the keys of light till the shadows are gone. In the silence, our thoughts alight with every keystroke we bring to life. That one would sound a little bit better if I would have said it more clearly, but it's still, even if I were to read it more carefully, I like the other two a little bit better. And I think I would go with the Bono version of the song to take it to the next level. Let's do another example. Okay, we'll start another ChatGPT over here, and we're going to go with, this time, we're going to go with, and by the way, put in the chat for me what you would really love to experience when you are writing. You know, what you think that you would enjoy. You know, what would you use ChatGPT to write? Thank you so much. I'm looking at your comments now, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, awesome. Let me know in the chat what you would really like to write, what you've always dreamed of writing. But if you actually look honestly at what's happening in your week-to-week life, you're getting to the end of each week and you're doing everything else but that creativity. If there's anything like that, you've always dreamed of writing a guidebook, or if you've always dreamed of writing an adventure or a movie script, have you ever thought of how cool it would be to write a great script? But every week goes by, and at the end of the week, oh my goodness, you know, you drove the kids to school, you know, took care of all the work duties, and you enjoy that, but you're not getting to this all-important thing. Well, use this tool as a way to get ahead in it. So let's look at this idea here and go, okay, let's say that I do want to write an adventure story, okay? So I could come here to ChatGPT and say, you know, okay, and I don't remember the screenwriter's name, but first of all, research, there's a keyword for you. This will give you the most up-to-date information, at least in the paid version. And let's see, research the screenwriter of Romancing the Stone. One of my favorite movies. Absolute favorite movie. Romancing the Stone. Okay, and so it is searching, and it was Diane Thomas. I remember that. She was a waitress, and she caught the attention of screenwriter John Hill, who helped her get the script to Columbia Pictures through his agent. And Michael Douglas eventually bought the script, and the movie was directed by Roger Zemeckis. So, and so the whole reason why I was getting that is Diane Thomas. And now give me 10 titles of a romantic adventure like what we just talked about, like this, but set in modern times. Okay, and then I could say something more. Let's see, the other one was Romancing the Stone. It had to do with going down to Colombia. Where would let's say, set this one in Switzerland. Set in Switzerland. Or, let's see, what would be another good one? And if you're commenting in the chat, go ahead and tell me in the chat, where could we set this scene that would be so intriguing now? How about we say, or Denmark, or some of the places that I really want to get to. How about Iceland and or Greenland, or a combination of the above. This swashbuckling tale needs to have a great hero. Make the hero female, a strong female lead. Strong female leading character. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat, like I said before. Okay. And I'm just copying and pasting it, so it really knows this is important. All right, so we have channeling Diane Thomas's flair for thrilling romantic escapades, and I really hope that the mosquitoes don't eat me alive here on this live stream, but this just shows you how dedicated I am to helping you get over any resistance and try that first step, dabble away, experiment, just say like tomorrow, after I drink my morning cup of tea, I'm going to just spend 5 minutes playing with ChatGPT. Hey, that even rhymes. We can make a poem out of it. After my morning tea, I'm going to spend 5 minutes with ChatGPT. So here we go on this, back to our regular scheduled programming. One's called Icebound Heart, a tale of a daring cartographer mapping Greenland's glaciers who discovers love and ancient secrets entombed in ice. That sounds a little interesting, kind of weird. Fjord Crossings, set in the rugged terrain of Iceland, a wildlife photographer, bing, 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 uncovers a hidden village and a love that challenges her wandering spirit. Okay, that's interesting. Danish Delights, a culinary writer in Denmark, finds more than new recipes when blah, blah, blah. I'm already lost on it. Echoes of the Alps, in the Swiss Alps, a risk-taking climber searching for a legendary peak finds unexpected companionship with a reclusive guide. Northern Lights Liaison, under the Aurora Borealis of Greenland, an astronomer's quest for a rare celestial event leads her to cross paths with a mysterious local with secrets of his own. So far, I like number 5 and number 2, the Fjord Crossings, because it's a wildlife photographer. So number 2, number 5. The next one's called Viking's Vale. I'm going to pass on that one. Swiss Serenade, the heart of Switzerland, a musicologist. The Glacier's Keeper. No. Mists of the Fjord, a botanist in Iceland. The Jewel of Jutland. Sounds a little bit too much like the Jewel of the Nile. So let's just go with number 2 and 5. Use 2 and 5 as inspiration. Okay, and give me, let's just pick one. Let's pick one. We want Northern Lights Liaison, the Aurora Borealis of Greenland, an astronomer's quest. No, I think let's go with Fjord Crossings. Use number 2 as inspiration and give me, let's say, 3 possible outlines for this adventure story. Okay? And then now we're doing that iteration thing, and I could have had more details in there and repeated the first and the last statement. Here are 3 possible outlines. Outline 1, Whispers of the Wild. The rugged terrain of Iceland. Characters: Ella, a wildlife photographer with a passion for capturing the untamed beauty of nature, and Jonas, a local guide with deep knowledge of Iceland's hidden paths and a mysterious past. Good. The plot. Introduction. Ella arrives in Iceland. She's going to photograph the elusive Arctic fox. I have photographed the Arctic fox, and I freaking love it. So it's already like, hey, does ChatGPT know that some of my favorite photos are adorable Arctic fox? Mine were not in Iceland. They were with a great organization that worked with hurt animals and rehabilitated them and allowed photographers to photograph them. Number one, that's the introduction. Number two, discovery. During their journey, Ella and Jonas come across a hidden village that didn't appear on any map. The villagers are oddly protective of a certain fjord. That's a little odd, but kind of interesting. But I mean, nowadays with Google Maps hidden totally from the world. Conflict. Intrigued by the mystery, Ella digs deeper and discovers an ancient legend of a treasure hidden in the fjord. Okay, so that's one outline, but I want more story. Okay, outline two. Echoes of Elder. And the characters they change them, Mia and Christopher. And the plot, she arrives and she's capturing the changing landscapes due to global warming. She meets Christopher, who's researching the receding glaciers. They discover, so first of all, like for the story to be really good in a romantic adventure, I think they have to kind of be at odds with each other. They have to kind of be fighting each other in the beginning. That's like a classic thing of a romance. They don't get along so swimmingly and work together right from the beginning. The next one's the Fjord's Secret. So revise these so that Ella is pulled away from her original goal, because let's just use the same thing that worked before. Her sister is in great danger, and this would pull her from, let's say, Iceland somewhere else, from Iceland to somewhere on the other side of the globe. And the thing that really made Romance in the Stone so great was that romantic writer did not want to have anything to do with travel. She was a recluse. She was introspective, introverted. She did not love taking risks. So that could work in that case, and it may not work in this case, but we're just playing here. Also, make her clash a bit with the male character in the beginning, before they somehow start falling in love. We're just playing totally, falling in love. Okay, so to reiterate, revise these to use classic principles of storytelling. And let's just say, as taught by Robert McKee. Okay, let's see what it goes. Now, Robert McKee is the author of a great book called Story. Highly recommend it. Got so much out of that book. Even went to his seminar. And just as a little aside, while ChatGPT is writing this, he is featured in the movie Adaptation, starring Nicolas Cage. And in that story, where Nicolas Cage is tasked with adapting a book into a screenplay, Nick's character goes to this seminar leader, who is completely modeled off of Robert McKee, and everybody knows it. And he sits in the audience, and at one point he can't help himself, but he blurts out a question. He says a question to this character based off of Robert McKee, and the character just tears him a new one. He is so angry at Nick for interrupting him in his presentation. It's not meant to be an open Q&A. He's memorized this complete thing, and he doesn't like. I mean, he absolutely gets furious when he's interrupted, and Nick is humbled by the experience. Well, guess what? I went to the seminar 4-day weekend, which it ends with a great exploration of the script of Casablanca. But before that, I think even on maybe day one, I forgot what I'd seen in that movie adaptation, and I couldn't help it. I'm a sharer in events. I like to participate, and I couldn't help it, but I raised my hand, and I didn't even raise my hand. I just blurted something out, and he stopped, and he just lost it on me. It wasn't cool at all, but I had my warning, so I didn't learn enough to control myself. So after he yelled and yelled about how this isn't a script, he said almost the same thing that he did in the movie. Then he finally found his way back to his thing, and I just kind of slunk down in my chair and kept learning as I could. So using his principles, he may have had a different style of teaching, but he definitely has a fantastic set of principles in that book story. Let's see how it revises it. Outline 1, Whispers of the Wild. Initially in Iceland, but shifting to the dense rainforests of the Amazon due to a sudden family emergency. Okay, so she's there capturing Arctic foxes. He's a local guide in Ireland. Ella's work in Ireland is disrupted when she receives urgent news that her sister's been kidnapped by an illegal wildlife trafficking ring in the Amazon. Okay, so there's complication, there's a turning point, there's a climax when they track down the traffickers in a hidden base where the sister is held. Okay, let's see what outline 2 is like. Echoes of Elder revised. And this one, we'll just keep the names instead of Mia and Christopher. We'll say it's Ella and Jonas again. And she learns that her sister, an archaeologist, has disappeared while researching ancient temples in Cambodia. That's kind of interesting. And the climax is they must decipher ancient inscriptions to find the temple where their sister is held. All of them are kind of goofy, but you can see that I'm having a dialogue. So in this case, there's a good case to be made that it's not really saving a whole lot of time. But that's okay if you are getting productive. That's the key. If right now I'm having a dialogue with my brainstorming buddy and I'm coming up with different possibilities and I'm going, oh, maybe I would like to do this. In this last one, outline 3, the Fjord Secret. The person is a vivacious adventure blogger. That could be interesting. Eric is a by-the-book historian, and again, we can keep the names. That's what's so great about it. You can pick what really resonates with you. If you like the idea of Ella and Jonas, you can stick with it. And then you can kind of go, oh, wait a minute, that one sings to my heart. They're going to outsmart the smugglers in a high-stakes chase through the ancient Medinas of Morocco to rescue her sister. And through the adventures, they're going to appreciate each other's strengths, leading to a romantic connection and plans for future expeditions. So each one of them, I can kind of go, what resonates the most? So instead of just living in this land of fear, and I see a mosquito just landing on my laptop screen right now. That's why I might get a little distracted from time to time. Instead of just, kind of staying stuck in the land of fear of, what if I start on the wrong thing? And what if this is the problem with any kind of creative productivity, whether it's writing or business. When we get kind of stuck in that land, it's like analysis paralysis. We look at everything that we could do and want to do, and we're afraid of making the wrong choice. And we don't make any decision, which is actually a decision. Not doing anything is a decision. And when we let that fear rule us to not putting anything out there, we don't ever get anywhere. The people who are most successful in creative writing, in business, like think of Stephen King. How prolific is he? How many stories has he written? Or any of the authors that that are very, very successful. Think of your favorite novelist or your favorite guide writer. They produce a lot. Think of the most successful people on YouTube or the social media channel that you like. They produce a lot. So what they do is they get to market as quickly as possible, and then they see what happens. They have a conversation, and often they have a conversation with their readers, and they learn in that way, or their editors, and they learn in that way, and they fine-tune it. But they can't fine-tune it until they get something out there. I love this story of the Marx Brothers. When they would, whoa, wow, I'm just watching a coyote walking by. This is so cool. That's definitely a coyote walking through the forest. It's starting to get into the evening, so I bet you there's going to be more wildlife walking through here. So you're seeing it with me in a sense. You can take my word for it. He's over there. And, the Marx Brothers, when they would, before they did their famous movies, they would go around the country acting it out live, and they would take note of which jokes, which skits, which sticks got the most laughs, and they would put those into the movie. And that's why the actual finished products became such classics of comedy, because they iterated, they tested things out. And so that's what we're doing here too. Instead of living in that land of, I don't know what to do, and therefore out of fear of failure or fear of embarrassment or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter what comes after the of, it's just fear. And if that word's too like, it gets you, it makes you upset, then think of stress. It's just like feeling stressed. Well, if that stress stops us from getting the first thing out there, and here's the beautiful part. Now, with this brainstorming buddy, you can do that combination of things. Another one bites the dust, right? Internally, kind of. You can get a lot done internally having this back and forth with your conversation buddy, and then you can go to the next stage once you have something that you've worked out many of the things in the beginning. Then you can do what Steve Krug used to call a cubicle test. After you go through the first initial thing, you look over the cubicle wall and say, hey, read this, and you can do that with your significant other or your friend or a support group of some sort, a creative group, or you could do it with your editor, whoever you're working with, you can go to them and go to the next stage of the conversation. And they might say, a vivacious adventure blogger, that's cliche, or whatever. They might say, can you make her a vlogger? That'd be, vlogging is something more interesting. For instance, everybody that I know that I've talked to loved the movie You've Got Mail. I didn't really like it because a lot of it was just, them typing away and narrating or voicing out loud, "Dear Ella, blah, blah, blah." And I didn't like it either because he turns out to be the guy who was crushing her business, and she just has to kind of accept it. Not my favorite story. So how did I get on that topic? I don't know. But you want to be having the reason why is because maybe having a story about a vivacious adventure blogger, blogging, writing, is not the most exciting thing to see visually, but a vlogger, you could have them doing a video, on the rooftops of Morocco, or if we go back to Iceland, doing a video with the beautiful, outlandish Icelandic landscape behind them, and there's so much more visual activity going on. Either way, the key is you want to just start this iteration, this conversation going forward, and just have fun with it. just enjoy it. Just play and see what you could do, okay? And just try things out, you know? There's nothing wrong with trying things out and seeing what works best for you. So I really hope that you've enjoyed exploring this. There is a lot more that we can do. There is a lot more that we can dive into. And one that I would recommend that you play with again is Suno, because you can do a free trial with that. And it really depends on what you want to do. So that's what I always say to people when I ask them, when they ask me a question like that, what tools should I start with? Or what free options are there out there? Or what's the best strategy? All tools that have a great motive of really trying to hedge your bets for success in the world of AI. I always respond by saying, what do you want to do? What could you automate? What have you always dreamed of doing, but you're not getting to? You know, in an ideal world, if someone could wave a magic wand and suddenly you could be, what is it? You could be producing more videos and posting every day to your channel on YouTube, or creating more Loom videos for better sales, or writing an email once a week, or writing your blog once a week, or like we talked about, doing your vlog. Whatever it is, that is the key thing, because there's so many different ways to utilize this new level of generative AI. And as a reminder, if you have any thoughts like, I don't know if I want to get into it, you're already using AI quite a bit. You're already using it. If you're getting emails, your email is using AI to get rid of a bunch of spammers. If you go to websites often and use different online tools, how often have you worked in a little thing of trying to sign in, trying to log into that website, and you're constantly trying to tell it that you're a real human being? You know, you're going through that reCAPTCHA, like saying, here's all the pictures of a bicycle or a car or a bus. Guess what you're doing there? You, as a human being, are trying to convince a robot, an AI, that you are a human being. It's kind of funny, but it's an AI system designed to block the other AI systems that people sometimes make out of greed or whatever bad, nefarious motives. And so you're using AI in so many different ways, and it's been part of our life, kind of in the background, for a really long time. And so now it's just exploded, because when ChatGPT came out, people were rightly absolutely floored at the results that they were getting. It was unbelievable how creative and how helpful ChatGPT was. And so if you haven't, got out your little, virtual surfboard and climbed down the stairs to the beach and, got your toes in the water and then actually paddled out and tried catching a wave, do that now. Do that right after you watch this. Go try ChatGPT and play with it for a little while. And even if your first results are like, oh, this is crap, this is not my voice, this is not my authentic voice, give it another chance, iterate, give it a few times of trying things out, and come to me in the meantime and comment down below on what happened and what you would like different, and I'll help you at least give it a really fair shot, because it is extremely true. AI is not going to put people out of work. AI is not taking our jobs. The people who use AI will be. There is going to be massive, massive disruption in the next 5 to 10 years. And trust me, you want to be the one that is very skilled, that is very strong, that has had experience with this kind of adaptation and experimentation and creative partnering with your brainstorming buddy. All right, so let's wrap it up for today. Go ahead and try that out first. And again, put down in the comments below what you'd like to do. And what, if someone could wave a magic wand, what you would just love to do. And then we can take it to the next level and help you overcome any resistance. Also tell me what resistance, what obstacles you're coming up with. Is it that you want the voice to be more authentically you? Is it that you're concerned about putting your material onto this thing and having these AI tools be trained and learning off of your material? And I've said it before, there's so much. You can't imagine how much information is being put into these things and how much is being processed every time you make a query, and how it's not cutting and pasting pieces and bits. Same thing with photography. It's not cutting and pasting parts of photos. It's actually generating as you speak and as you work with it. But tell me if that's the concern that you have.